Hello, and this is my Arduino design challenge. So, what I wanted to create was a person counter, and this is most easily explained with an example. So, for example, in the front of a store or in the front of an event, there's usually a person that stands there with a clicker that just counts the people that enter. And I just wanted to make that autonomous so that there wouldn't require a person to stand there. So, if we start the simulation. The LCD will turn on displaying visitor counter. It'll say, please come in and display how many visitors we have. So to make it start counting, we take the first ultrasonic distance sensor and set it in between 1 to 3 inches. Sorry. And then this one will, we set the other one above 3 inches. This will make it so that down here, it'll increase the visitor counter. See, it's 1. Then when it flashes again, it's at 2. And I coded it so that it has a threshold of 30 people, for example, and then it'll say do not enter. And just to make this video short, I won't uh, show it going from 4 to 30 because it'll just take too long. And let's say, for example, you wanted to count the people that are leaving a building. You can just make this one in a value of 1 to 3 inches and take this one above 3 inches. And if you look down here, it'll decrease the visitor. It's 5. 4, okay? And then the LEDs are just to tell you that everything is working. And then the potentiometer is just there so that we can control the LCD screen to turn it on. And it also transfers numerical value data. Okay, so if we look at the code here, in the beginning, these are just all the variables we use. I use in the below. In the beginning, this is just telling the LCD. I mean not the LCD, the ultrasonic distance sensor to transfer the data that it receives when it is counting up here. When you move it in between 1 to 3, it'll just clear the trigger and it transfers all that data to the LCD. And here, this is just the code for the LCD. This is just to start print its beginning phase and then print what it receives. So right here, this is its beginning phase, and here, yeah, this is also part of its beginning phase. And then the pin mode, that's just for the LEDs. Here, this is just another part for the LEDs to display working, and then it gets delayed, and then it turns off, delay, and then it turns back on again. It's just a constant loop. The void person count, this is to measure the distance that the sensor measures with time in centimeters. These are just the values that we're going to be using. And then these in sorry, the centimeter sets the cursor to column 0, line 1. And then the next lines tell the LCD to print based off what values it receives. So for example, if the centimeters are less than 30, the stats will be 1, or if else, the stats will be 0. And then it just goes off on an if and else statement. So if stats equal 1, then the count increases by 1. But if centimeter 2 is less than 30 and the stats 2 is 1, it'll decrease to 0. And then it's kind of the same thing. But for count 3, this is the part where it'll count down. And then here it's just telling the LCD to print what it receive to print things like go out when it reaches a certain number of visitors, and that's just all being told from the ultrasonic distance sensor. So yeah, that's my Arduino design challenge. Thank you very much.